Now across to Annette Young, host of the award-winning 51%. She joins us from the Louvre where that event is taking place. Annette, $40 billion raised from 1,000 contributors to boost this campaign. Is that enough? It sounds like a great deal.
It does, but at the end of the day, Sanam, sadly, it's probably just a drop in the ocean. The reality is, in terms of women's rights, there is a feeling among people, particularly the UN Executive Director General, Fomzile Melinda, who's coming to the end of her term in August, that women have indeed been shortchanged in the last 26 years, which was when, in the first time, that Hillary Clinton made that very famous statement, women's rights are human rights, at a conference in Beijing in 1995 where 189 countries committed to making gender equality a priority. Now today, here in this conference, we've had representatives from 195 member nations, all of whom have agreed to contribute something, along with private sector and the civil society, including also France. And earlier I just managed to corner the French President as he walked into the conference and asked him what would be the message of today's gathering. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. We were hoping there to hear from President Macron, who basically went on to tell me, Sanam, that as a result of the pandemic, the situation for women's rights has become an emergency issue, and we all would agree on that women have suffered tremendously as a result of what's occurred in the last 15 months.
Absolutely, Annette. We hear quite a kerfuffle there behind you, but looking and listening beyond that, we know that two women leaders of certainly different generations have been lending their voice to this cause even.
Yes, and just to explain that kerfuffle going on, was a young African woman leader who was getting very annoyed about the lack of progress, and that's something that was very much emphasised by Hillary Clinton, who here she is, 26 years on, saying the same thing. Also accompanied via video link, the other newer generation, that of course being Kamala Harris, the first ever woman of colour to be the country's vice president, explaining not only the need for economic assistance, but also for women to take a greater role in democracy, in political representation. According to the UN, only 20% of the world's political leadership are women, and according to Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, among the many others who are here this afternoon, that of course has to change.
Annette Young, the host of France 24's 51%, with that colourful update from the French capital. Annette, keep it up. You'll be hearing a lot more from women, I imagine, later today.